Welcome to CoPlay Media, a look inside the world of video games, anime, and the Blerd community. And now, here are your hosts, Diers and Demo.
Welcome to CoPlay Media!
All right.
Oh, man. Today you got the host, man. We got D, man. We got Demo, man. And
We in here.
today, we got a guest. The mighty Nick Allen, a.k.a. John Jebus, a writer and producer of Rexco Comics.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, well, thank you for having me.
Man, it's a pleasure.
That introduction was awesome.
Thank you. We got skills, man.
Yeah.
Man, I might need y'all for the run over.
Hey, we down. And I think, what was it called? We met at Blerdcon, right?
Yep, Blerd is work. Yep,
It was dope.
Blerdcon was dope, man.
it was.
It was like a cultural mecca, like coming together, you know?
Everything.
It was crazy because I never thought there would be a convention that I would see like Steve Urkel and like Akatsuki.
Yep. Steve Urkel, Akatsuki, and a pimp named Slickback.
Yeah, he was in there.
Oh yeah, there was a good name Slipback.
Oh yeah, like he had the purple suit on, the hat, everything.
Correcting people. You got to say the whole name.
Yeah.
I think what amazed me about that was watching how many girls were running up to him, asking for a picture with him with his pimp hand up.
Oh, wow. That's some repressed stuff. That's some deep needs right there.
You gotta love the culture, man. You gotta love it.
You might have to psychoanalyze those women.
One day. That sounds like a show right there. Like, what kind of woman would want to take a picture with the pimp?
What were you thinking? What was going through your mind at that moment, man?
And she was like, I just needed a pimp hand just to guide me.
All right. Well, we got what you need.
Speaking of pimps, man, you from the Pimpin' City, Baltimore City, right?
Yeah. Baltimore, born and raised.
Oh, man. Sound more enthusiastic. Come on, man.
It's Baltimore, man. You can't that is enthusiasm.
No, Baltimore's a cool city, man. I make a joke. I tell people I've never been to Baltimore where the sun was shining. I feel like The Wire has tainted my perception of the city. But the Royal Farms is out there, though. I love the Royal Farms chicken.
Mm-hmm.
You know, crazy. The Wire has really given anybody from Baltimore so much street cred.
Right.
Like, I remember going to college, this 150-pound black kid into like games, anime, comics, and stuff. But let me tell people, I'm from Baltimore, though. Oh my God. Have you seen The Wire? Do you know Omar?
Do you know Omar? Have you seen Omar?
They always go straight to Omar too. Did you see Omar? Was he buying some Honey Nut Cheerios? Like,
Yeah, man.
he was out there. I think I seen him.
You know, that show captured that city to the T.
I don't think he wants to hear
Still
that.
gotta watch it.
Huh?
I have not personally watched The Wire.
What?
Yeah, I know. Everybody's like, you ever watched Wire City?
You have
think I
not seen the
watch it
documentary
now.
of your city?
Yeah, basically. I mean, it's all-time classic.
I don't know,
show.
like,
Easily
the
top
last
5.
time it crossed my mind, I was teaching in Baltimore City Public School, and it just seemed like it hit a little too soft.
Yeah.
I mean, they really got actually like a season that's dedicated to the school system of Baltimore. You
to
might
the
actually
kids.
like really relate to it.
Yeah.
Because they talk about the trials and tribulations and, you know, the personal relationships that teachers will build with the kids and how the kids are being affected by, you know, their surroundings and wanting to do what's best for them. But, you know, being handcuffed by the system and pretty much, you know, having to play that.
And I would feel that. And at the same time, some PTSD might kick in. So,
Oh, yeah.
tread careful.
It's real in the communities. You know what I'm saying? I think it gets swept under the rug more so. But I feel like that season of The Wire was one of my favorite because I can relate for sure. just seeing how, you know, the streets affect the kids and how it goes into the school system.
Yeah.
You see it every day in public schools, man.
And I think it's actually like, you're actually, you know, as much as we joke around, you're a fantastic, true representation of Baltimore. You know, not everyone from that city has to be like some kind of, you know, mastermind thug or, you know, drug dealer or anything like. There's a lot of positive people doing great stuff in that city, and I don't think that it ever really gets the attention that it deserves.
Well, you know, this is that dichotomy of Baltimore, and it's in many ways a tale of two cities. Like one block to block can be completely different. Yeah. Like,
yeah, it's some beautiful blocks.
Harbor.
Yeah.
The areas around John Hopkins.
Yep. The stadiums.
Hopkins.
You guys have two stadiums right next to each other.
We have what?
Two stadiums right next to each other.
Which is awesome.
Yep. It's ridiculous.
You know, a lot could be said about Baltimore, you know, and like, tell us about, you know, not just Baltimore, but also like the school experience and how all these experiences kind of led you from, you know, because I think you were into video games originally, right? Either was it engineering or video games, and then something shifted the change to make it want to go into comics. What was that?
Right. Wow. Did we talk about, did you Google? All right. I guess like a brief Cliff Note origin story. So obviously I'm from Baltimore. I went to school at Mount St. Joseph. I matriculated to Alabama A&M University.
Nice.
To study physics. I thought I was going to be a space scientist at one time. Worked at NASA. But yeah, I switched over to computers. I realized you can make a living making video games. I was playing them a lot, you know, got a lot of interest going. So then I to the University of Baltimore for another bachelor's.
Okay.
And studied video games there. And then during that time period, you know, I've always been a comic fan, and that year I was about to graduate. I went to New York Comic Con. It was like 2007, back like when you could just buy a ticket.
Right.
You had to be like playing Hunger Games. You could just get a ticket. A lot of my favorite writers were there. And I remember being in the panel to this day, and I saw a comic writer. His name is Peter Tomasi. And he was just talking about shop, the profession, how you can go into it. And I was just like, oh, so this is a thing?
So
like,
was it,
people make money?
So was it
telling lies on paper? Sign me up.
making up stuff.
Just making stuff up. Just like out here, just saying whatever. Like, and getting paid for it. Hey, if Stan Lee can do it.
Hey, yeah. Whatever comes to mind. Now, are you a Marvel or DC guy?
Ooh.
I am neither. Now, you know, I'm from the inner city, so I didn't experience like comic shops like that growing up.
Very true.
So my first comic book experience was my grandparents' basement. I had an uncle that passed. I wasn't reading a ton of books at the time, so I don't know. One of my grandparents came up with the idea, like, let's have him read a comic book and see maybe he'll get more into reading.
True.
And it worked. So I didn't have that, like, comic publisher spirit animal. Like, I didn't run into the guy from The Simpsons, like, DC Comics are the superior comics.
Right.
So I guess I'm, like, not red or blue or purple. I love them both for different reasons.
Yeah.
Different characters. My favorite character actually is Flash.
Is Flash?
Okay.
Was that the the original comic that really got you interested?
Yeah, in a way, because I was reading a lot of things. Like, the first comic I ever read I remember picking it up. It was the old X Factor comic. And I believe the character's name is Frenzy. She's I could be wrong, she's a black character. Yeah, no, it's Frenzy. And, you know, she was on the cover, looked badass. And I was like, oh, what's this? A person to kind of, a black person, you know, on a book. Let me check this out. And then I started reading a lot of old school X-Men. And then as I went through the long boxes, you know, probably what really solidified my love of comic books was Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Wait, what was that?
Crisis on Infinite Earths.
What's that?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Crisis on Infinite Earths was like one of the biggest, if not the biggest, DC comic book events at the time. Like, it introduced the Anti-Monitor, who was like this big character made out of antimatter.
Okay.
And he descended upon the DC universe with like these dark side, like shadow creatures. And they would touch anything they touch would just like negate, because matter and antimatter kind of come together. And boom.
So they had the antimatter Midas touch.
Exactly.
Everything just
so, you know, it was like comic books, it was physics, it was like everything to what, you know, kind of mold, I guess I was interested in even as a little kid.
Yeah, I'm about to say it sounds
and it
like
has
it
a great
shaped you.
platform. So
That's amazing.
that's
I'm definitely gonna check that out. Like I'm definitely gonna check that out and read that. I think that's amazing. When you are one of the primary people who started Rexco Comics, right?
Yes, I am one of two, along with my brother from another mother, Troy Jeffrey Allen.
Oh, you guys aren't actually brothers.
We're brothers. We're happy and we're singing.
Give me a high five.
All right, y'all got that reference. Yeah. Troy, we got like a distance relationship. And, you know, his last name was Allen. He's a comic writer. My last name is Allen. I was a comic writer. And I was like, we should team up. Marvel style.
Yeah. Wonder Twins activate.
We clasped hands together like Schwarzenegger in the movie, and, you know, like son of that whole thing. Big action movie junkie.
Are you?
Yeah, I love martial arts movies growing up. You know, I had like I'm from the hood, but, you know, I had those, you know, kung fu. You know, Saturdays was like kung fu theater.
I'm about to say, I feel like everybody from.
I was about to say, like, I think everybody, you know what I'm saying, around 11 o'clock noon, watch that Ultimate Warrior. You know what I'm saying? The when they all fighting the Saturday. Remember? When they all fighting.
It was like different dudes under different kung fu.
WMAC Masters.
Yeah, WMAC Masters.
Yeah.
Remember the cyborg dude with the dreadlocks?
Yes, the black guy. Yeah.
That was my dude right there.
Met one of them a year or two ago at Urban Action Expo.
Wow.
His name Bam Bam. It was definitely one of WMAC Math.
Wow.
And I don't remember his name right. And he's listening right now. Forgive me. But yeah.
So tell me about the rest of the team, man. So you got Troy Allen, you know what I'm saying, brother from another mother. What can you tell us about Julius Abrera?
So Troy is a DC native that I met. Like, we've known each other for more than a decade at this point. He's the writer of Bam and Frontiers. And Bam is like a comic book about a washed-up pro wrestler that teaches a bunch of geeks how to defend themselves using wrestling. And it's kind of this geek versus jock story. Like, those were the ones the kids had to learn to protect themselves from, like, the wrestling jocks and, the actual guys that are hitting the gym. Mm-hmm. With this character named Bam, teaching them to defend themselves. And Frontiersman is like this crazy story about what if Russia won the space race and sent the monkey to the moon. And it kind of follows the adventures of the monkey. And then our creative team on our flagship story, Fight of the Century, includes Julius Ferreira. I mean, I got an all-star team of guys helping me. I wanted a Brazilian guy, especially because the Fight of the Century is my flagship book that takes place in Brazil.
Yes.
So he's my Brazilian connect on the ink side, which is really an underappreciated art form in the comics medium. And then he's introduced me to Brazilians, and then, I met Neto through Thiago, as well as other Thiagos, a great colorist in and of himself. And then Mervyn McCoy does some of the concepts and cover artwork. Mm-hmm. He's my brother from another mother at PaperLabStudios.com, who also work on the C-listers with.
C-listers, yes. In fact, before we get into C-listers, before we get into it, I want to talk to you first about Action A GoGo. Like, Action A GoGo was one of, it kind of reminds me of like a Shonen Jump, where it refers back to like other manga and other references to shows and stuff like that. I saw it was like the first one you guys did. Y'all did a reference to Mr. and Mrs. Smith and talking about other things. And it was really interesting how you guys did it. I even like the Bruce Lee article in which it talks about like after a decade of Bruce Lee being in the industry and all these things going on, that he just happens to be treated as just a sidekick.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
Kato.
Did I write that?
I hope so. It was tight, bruh.
I think it could have been me. I think like there were two articles up for grabs. Troy was actually editing that book at the time. And that could have been me. If it was infuriating, it was probably me.
What about the Luke Cage review? The Luke Cage review I really agreed with.
I didn't write the Luke Cage review, but I also agree with the Luke Cage review.
The Luke Cage, man, Luke Cage still, like, in my opinion, one of the blackest shows.
Oh, yeah.
Like...
Season 1.
Right.
Oh, totally.
Classic.
Culturally correct. You know what I'm saying? Like, Cottonmouth, great villain. And also I really enjoyed how it went into the introduction of the C-listers, in which has got a dude, you know what I'm saying? I believe there's 3 characters. Gearman, the Manticore, and Lieutenant Lightning. Yep. Mm-hmm. Out of those 3, like, personally speaking, what would be your favorite character and why?
Those 3, that's like picking a group.
I know. It's like asking which one is your favorite child. Like, which child is your favorite?
Look, man, against popular belief, you got a favorite. You got a favorite.
Demo knows he's a father, okay?
I got 3.
I guess he's probably the most, like, based on me. So... You said the most based on you? He's probably the most based on me, even though he doesn't look like me. Because the story is very much, it follows those 3 guys, but his relationship with his wife is very much like my relationship with my wife. We're just one of those opposite attract couples.
So is the is the first episode loosely based off of an experience that Lieutenant Lightning had with the Invincible chick? Was that something that was similar to what you guys had? Like, did you... I don't want to put you out there on blast, you feel me? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't want to put you out there, but Lieutenant Lightning definitely got, he definitely got hit with sliding his tongue down another woman's throat.
Oh.
That was, you know what I'm saying, like that was the part that got me hooked. I was like, oh man, Lieutenant Lightning living a real life. Like he's really out here like a human being. He crying and drinking about it. Like he truly made a mistake. You know what I'm saying?
Depressed out here.
Yeah.
You know, nothing like that happened, but you know, I think if you've been in a relationship with a significant other long enough, there'll be that forbidden fruit moment that, you know, that Avengers, Infinity War, like, do I just throw this relationship off the edge of a cliff? Like,
oh man,
maybe it's just me. I didn't throw anyone off a cliff.
No, but I mean, you always got that moment. You're gonna risk it all. You're gonna risk it all, man.
Yeah, that risk it all moment.
You know, we all human, man. We all get weak, man.
We all here in the flesh. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
The flesh is weak.
I feel it. I feel it slipping.
Oh, which brings me to mind, like, why does Manticore get no love? Like, Lieutenant Lightning got a girl. Gear Man is obviously suffocating in orgies. Like,
man,
what?
Why is the Manticore getting no love?
He gets no love, man. He gets no love. Like, I feel as if there'd be some
because he ugly.
I feel as if, you know what I'm saying, there'd be some, you know, bestiality chicks out there, you know, some chicks who was into, like, you know.
But you know what they say? You could be funny and ugly and still.
I can actually kind of agree with that, because it's like, now looking at the internet as it has evolved compared to like 10 years when I first wrote it, like, I'm still surprised every day, every once in a while, I like see an article or something, and it's like Vice News would be like, "This is a thing," and I'm like, "What? This is a thing?" And Vice is like, "Yes, this is a thing."
Yeah, Vice is clutch for that.
Oh man, Vice will put you on, dog. Vice put me on to so many crazy things, like with the dudes hanging and the devil worshippers, and
man,
like
Vice be finding some wild. Like, you got to be willing to risk your life to work at Vice.
Dog, they risk their life out there for a scoop.
I hope all of those journalists are making at least six figures. Some of the stuff they go into is like, yo, what the heck is this?
You see the guy?
There was a video the other day, like, we are interviewing a cannibal that ate a woman.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
you on the menu, literally. Like, you're on the menu.
There'd always be like somebody's like, yeah, I'm a black guy, and I'm gonna go see what the KKK is up to. Like, I'm gonna go interview him.
Like marching in the rallies and crap. It's like, yo, you crazy.
It's funny as heck, man.
Like, you gotta be.
Yeah, there's gotta be a blooper reel for Vice.
There's gotta be
somewhere.
There's got to be. So I got another question. Really, it's about Lieutenant Lightning. Why would he be foolish enough to date a woman who is psychic, who's a telepath?
Wow.
That's setting yourself up for failure.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, at the same time, why would, like, Cyclops date Jean Grey? Because she's bad. Lakeisha is amazing. She's just like, in my world, she's like Omega level.
Okay.
I mean, at the end of the day, you got to ask yourself, even to a certain degree, some girls are kind of telepathic with their men anyway. Would you not date, like, I mean, if you had an option, I don't know if your dream girl is. Like,
now,
but it is, I'm trying to think of that right now. I'm like,
now let me ask you this though. If we're going by these movies, right? These X-Men movies that have come out, and what Jean has done to Cyclops.
Didn't she murder that dude off rip?
Like, he would not date her.
Yeah. Like, if he knew that, like, she would almost die and then come back and then just, like, rip him to shreds, like, I'm sure he would have walked out.
I think, like most men, he's lost in the sauce. And who knows? She might have him under some type of unknown telepathic love spell.
Yeah.
Because she straight up murked him.
She murked him. She didn't even feel bad. She was trying to smash Wolverine the next scene.
Yo, she was disloyal down to the bone.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and
that's how it is in real life.
You know, if I could choose, my girl to have a superpower, it would be like Elastigirl. You know what I'm saying? Stretching, the folding. You know what I'm saying? Like that right there. Right. I would go for it. Telepath, I don't know. It seems like a lot of risk.
Funny.
True.
A big reason that she has that superpower is, I guarantee you, if you take this poll and run with it, and ask a lot of women, if you can have one superpower, what would it be? At least 50% of them will say mind reading.
But do they really want it?
They don't want to read no mind. They don't want to read no man's mind.
They don't want to know what we think. They would hate us. And probably do to us what Jean did to Cyclops. See, that's why she did it.
That's why she killed him.
She knew everything he had ever thought that was out of left field up to that point. And unleashed it in that moment when she was turning into the Phoenix.
Yeah. You know, Scott
he never had a chance.
In a moment of weakness, you know, Scott went to the strip club, had a mistake, you know what I'm saying? She saw him, she was like, Scott, she kissed him, you know what I'm saying? Read his mind instantly. You're like, oh, word? Blew him away right there. No words.
The only man capable of dating Jean Grey without fear of his life is Magneto, because he can block.
Oh, because he got the helmet.
The helmet. You have to have a helmet.
Juggernaut?
Juggernaut.
Magneto too.
Juggernaut and Magneto, both. I believe both of their helmets are made of that similar.
Yeah.
You know, you can't psychically attack me kind of thing.
You can't break in my mind, girl. Like, come on, mind your business. You're trying to go through my phone, now you're trying to go through my mind.
Through my mind?
Come on.
Yo, if they're going through your phone, she will not waste a second going through your mind, bruh.
At all times.
As soon as you kiss her, hey baby, word?
Oh, word? That's what you was thinking about today? Bet.
Yeah, I mean,
he would never have a good day.
I would never date a girl with like mind reading, probably, unless she was like Serena Williams bad.
Serena Williams bad. Yeah, Serena is.
I'd risk it all. Like, I'd risk death for Serena.
Would you?
Like, she and that. Yeah, I'd risk death.
All right.
Hey, man. Hey, we roll that dice. You know what I'm saying? Got to roll that dice for greatness.
Shake them up, shake them up, shake them up.
Take that dice roll on somebody.
You know, 7.
7-11. That's all I'm rolling. You know?
You die, they still going. You gonna be a legend?
Yo. You die trying, man. What'd you die for? Greatness. Oh, okay.
That brings up.
So for C-listers, I have one more question, right? So, and in the around the end of the first episode, when Lieutenant Lightning's girlfriend's girlfriend, you know, her friend, takes her to the club to the Bison-looking dude. When they were, because they used to be a thing, so it brought me to my mind. It's like, wait, so is the Bison looking dude? He's obviously a villain because he looks like Bison. Was she a villain? Did she like turn good with Lieutenant Lightning?
She hung up her villain cape. She got with Lieutenant.
So he turned around. Lieutenant Lightning gave her.
Nah, she still got it in her though.
She still got the evil in her.
She could always go the other way.
Does she go the other way, Nick? Does she go both ways? Is she both a villain and a hero?
You know, she might be a little bit of A, might be a little bit of B. You know, it's just
she dabbles
like a lot of people.
She dabbles.
You know, she's still, her homegirl is still a villain.
I was about to say that. Like, her homegirl looks mad evil, bro. Like, there's no denying she's definitely, like, how can you be friends with a villain, date a hero? Your ex is a villain. Y'all meeting up at the club, everybody laughing at you. Yo, I'd be wasting people too. Like, yo,
I'm about to say
I would be going off.
You know
like,
what
you're not
they say. Birds of a feather gonna flock together.
You know what I'm saying?
Can't change the stripes on a zebra. You know what I'm saying? She's lying. She has infiltrated. She has infiltrated.
Are we calling the future in future episodes? Does she actually show her evilness?
Well, there's always going to be that struggle inside of her. You're going, something bad might happen. Her perspective might not be exactly what a good person is. It's there's a little chart that my artist Mervin created to kind of perfectly. There's like 9 characters that we have. It's like some are chaotic neutral, some are evil, some are chaotic good. Like the 3 main guys, Lieutenant, Lightning Man, Court Gear Man, they're all in the good category. Some chaotic, some neutral. And same with some of the villains.
And I noticed that Gear Man, you know what I'm saying? Like, is he just like conveniently good? Because like, besides being good, he's like smashing like everything. Like,
he is like capitalist good. Like, I'll save the day and send you a bill. Like, he's just very into himself.
Selfish.
Yeah, I like how they called him Captain Chlamydia. I thought that was hilarious, yo. I know Captain Chlamydia. I'm like, that's not his name.
He got the claps.
He got the claps, dog. Like, my man really like jumped up. Like, he was in a quicksand of orgy, bro. Like, he can't, like, his first scene.
That's when it happened?
Yes.
He magic
like his fetish is kind of like a variety of different fetishes. He's not, some heroes try to like maybe hide their like dark issues. He's like, no, I'll like. He's the most confident of the 3,
definitely,
but he's also got the most personal problems of the 3.
Usually, how it works.
Yeah, usually it's the confident people who are just messed up and don't care.
Grandstanding,
like,
peacocking.
I'm coming in hot and warm, gentlemen.
Ooh, you almost here, man. We're about to have you in person, dog. Oh, man.
In the flesh.
That is going to be awesome.
Never before.
Before you get here, though, I want to start talking about Fight of the Century, right? Fight of the Century, for me, seemed like the main kind of comic that you guys are coming out with right now. And it seemed like it was... To me, it was the most like... Have you ever heard of a manga called Baki the Grappler?
Yep.
So
I got many comparisons.
Yeah, like with Baki the Grappler, I like the artistic style, the flow of movement, you know what I'm saying? And you're in Fight of the Century, it kind of started having that where it was like the extra defined muscles of the characters,
rippled.
The rippleness, the movement of how they fight, you know what I'm saying? The artisticness of it is really interesting. I really liked it because, of course,
thank you.
I'm a huge Baki the Grappler fan.
Man.
Okay.
But my first, I guess, question is, how would you describe Neo Rio?
Neo Rio is my futuristic playground. So kind of like Akira had Neo Tokyo, a city that was rebuilt after major events. This city is the same way, except, rather than a nuclear bomb, there were other environmental factors that came in, and then they had to rebuild Neo Rio, but they made a Faustian pact with a mega corporation called Bronx Farm in order to rebuild the city. And essentially, Bronx Farm is kind of like the government, like the real government.
Okay. So it's kind of like, if this is One Piece, it would be like the world government?
Yeah, kind of like the world government. And the agreement was, imagine, so to kind of plug this a little bit, imagine a natural disaster essentially almost destroying a major city, like Tokyo, or in this case, Rio. So mega corporation comes in, like everyone's starving, and they're like, we have super science that will take care of your food situation, take care of, we'll give you super athlete. So, you can feel very proud and essentially rebuild the country, but you'll owe us.
Oh, nah.
Okay, so they came at everybody and was like, okay, we got your answer. Steroids for everybody. Steroids for your food, for your crime.
I'm doing that right now.
You know what I'm saying? All
That's
steroids,
crazy.
everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, I just want to go ahead and reintroduce Nick Allen, who is now instant transmissioned here due to the show being so far. So far, he had to get in here in person, man.
He just showed up. It was ridiculous.
I appreciate it, dog.
Man, I fought werewolves, Vegeta.
And traffic.
And traffic.
DC traffic is no joke, man.
Yeah, it's pretty
man.
bad.
Like, it is a struggle. And from Baltimore, like, I don't know where you're coming from, but either way, if you're in the city, it is a pain.
Yeah, it's annoying.
It's terrible. But we got you here. We got you in the office. We're going to continue where we were talking about, which was talking about fight of the century, in which my next question was going to ask you, what are the side effects of the drugs that the fighters are taking, and how does it affect them during the story?
Well, various drugs will obviously have various effects. So like I said, it's very much, you can think of the story like an 80s action movie with a brain.
Okay.
So, plenty of action, but at the same time, I'm super infatuated with the idea. I have a science background. The marriage of science and sports in modern day athletics, when you think about it, you don't know who's doing what. Yeah. And all these people, it's even hard to catch them these days. But to answer your question, some of these drugs will cause different things. Like in the first issue, there's a little roid rage, for lack of a better word. On another issue, you might have somebody, tweaking out a little bit, for every benefit, sometimes there's a cost, and that's a big theme of the story.
Yeah. Is that there's kind of like in the fight of the century, it's kind of the theme of sacrifice for greatness, right?
Right. It's a story about sports versus legacy, how you want to be remembered. If you look at modern day MMA, even right now, it's just like people are just getting busted right and left.
Get bodied. It's something terrible.
Yeah, man. And it's like the whole premise of my story was just the idea of, nowadays you don't even really know who's doing what, right? So I was just like, what happened if you just let it go? Like, dudes you ever want to get bigger, badder, stronger. And, at the end of the day, the story kind of explores, what does that mean? Right. What does that mean as an athlete? What does that mean to you as a person? How will you be remembered for your actions? Because some of these guys who are going to be in the hall are going to not get caught. Yeah. Like, we're in this asterisk era of sports. So it kind of lends itself to a question of, how do you, and I'm kind of curious how y'all might kind of feel about that sort of stuff, like the Barry Bonds type situations.
I think that things like the getting a bunch of blood transfusions before a match, or taking human growth hormone and stuff like that, I think that there should be laws and such in place, because it affects people. It affects everybody. And the way that I feel about it is that how can you truly be an athlete? How can you truly be like the top of the sport if you're taking a bunch of drugs?
That being said, it's like the same thing. Like, nowadays, you got to think what sports tickets cost. Yeah. Are you going to see LeBron play like some dude over at the park, or do you want to watch LeBron be able to jump 16 feet? Now, I'm not saying whether or not I know LeBron's on the juice. I'm not saying he is on the juice.
That dude's a monster.
They're guys Be like, that ain't no normal human being stuff.
And you know what? It kind of makes like, you know what it kind of reminds me of? Have you ever seen the anime called Megalobox?
Everyone also compares my stuff to Megalobox.
Yeah, because it's like with them, instead of depending on drugs, they depend on technology to kind of improve their fit. And the one guy who's just, all natural is the only one who's making it because skills.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I wanted to bring that up because then it becomes, all right, are you getting by on your enhancements or is my skill good enough to trump that? Because remember, even in swimming, they banned a certain swimsuit because it's like slicing the knife through butter.
Right. And that's the thing. Like, people started like retroactively like banning things. They're like, you were too good at the time because of this thing you took, so we're going to take your medals and give it to the next guy. So because it's really a complicated issue.
I don't believe in that. That because they still sacrificed something to compete at that level. Right. But not everybody can be a Usain Bolt.
No.
You know what I mean? Not everybody can be Michael Johnson. You know what I mean?
At the same time, it's like, do you want to watch sports, for lack of a better word, stagnate? Because they're always finding some new way to get an edge.
Everybody gets faster.
To look at a hardened step back. I am disgusted by modern basketball right now with the step back.
The traveling is ridiculous.
Traveling. Dude's just running now. Dude's just running the ball down.
We were watching like games, like if they hit 100 points, it was like a big deal. And now it's every night.
To that point, everybody compares basketball today to the 90s. It's like, nah.
No.
Jordan did not play in the same NBA as LeBron and them.
No.
Because back in the day, you could actually hand check people, and it took skill to get open.
Yep.
Right.
Whereas now, don't touch them. At all.
Just gotta be there.
Just gotta
Hey,
shoot.
hey.
The 90s basketball was way more physical, way more athletic, I feel.
The hate. I miss the hate.
Yeah.
Somebody would just deny you like that Scottie Pippen dunk, like get off.
Because you won't find another game like an NBA Jam, because NBA Jam really is just an over exaggerated version of what was actually happening. Like people were getting elbowed in the mouth.
They were.
And getting pushed in the ground.
They weren't getting like literally pushed down.
You know, there was a price to pay. If you a small dude trying to come through the hole, you're going to pay for it. One way or the other. My house. It's my house.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But now it's like you just stand there. Hands up.
Hey.
You better not touch him either. And you're just standing there. Don't touch him. Yeah. He better not bump you.
Get teabagged. I'm like, nah. I'm from Baltimore. You come to Baltimore and ball, you still gonna play like that.
Like, still gonna play like that. But I like that comparison, because it's like, is it different?
Yeah.
Like, is your skill better? Does it matter? Now,
that comes in play with the main character.
I will say, if you do come to get found like, oh, it was enhanced, I feel like there should be an asterisk by your name. I'm not going to take your medals, but let's put this asterisk here.
I think when you get to, I'm sorry, go ahead.
But at the same time, it's like, how many dudes do you not even know about that you have to put an asterisk? Your favorite dude right now, probably.
Hey, man.
We'll get an asterisk. If not now,
beat him, cheat him.
It's kind of like Drake. You know what I'm saying? like Drake. If you never knew Drake had a writer, you know what I mean? You think this is straight off Drake.
Right.
Like Drake got 14 personalities and he's just fire. And like 3 of those personalities speak to women's hearts. You know what I'm saying? But
continue, D. I have a whole theory about Drake.
Because that's how I feel about it. Like I feel as if, and kind of we've seen it all in humans, right? When once you know that something is possible, everyone's mind will unlock. They believe it. Just kind of like when like that mile race, and then somebody broke the record, and then everyone's like Tony Hawk. He did a move, and everybody's like, oh. And then people just started doing the 900. Like I
think people are doing like 1080s now.
Yeah,
right? It's ridiculous.
Simone Biles just did like a triple-double.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
And I think it's one of those things that would make sports so great is that it's an unlock of your mind and ability. You do something that's before anybody's ever thought of, and then your body makes it possible. When you take drugs, it kind of brings it back to the Drake thing where you got a budget. You got like, I get all the drugs, you know what I'm saying? I'm about to be strong as all outdoors because I can afford it because I've been acting since I was 12. You know what I'm saying? Like little wheelchair Jimmy is about to get roided out. Like it's one of those things where, if you can afford the drugs, or if you have the backing of a corporation that will pump the drugs into you.
Yes.
That is the thing that I worry about, because then you're not really you doing you. You're not Muhammad Ali. You're a roided puppet.
Exactly. And my whole thing with Drake, I'm like, people forget Drake is an actor.
Drake is an actor.
Yes.
What if this whole rap thing is an act anyway, and he's just doing it so good that he just ended up being one of the greatest rappers or performers.
Artists.
Right. Out there. I'm like, this guy's a great actor. If you hear him talking outside of rapping, it's not the same person.
I seen it, and everybody's an artist. I seen an artist draw a picture with his ear. You know what I'm saying? Like anybody could be an artist.
Yeah, art is art.
And
hey, so what if you have people on your roster that write for you? Hey. Oh well, like I'm the performer. Like I'm going to perform it.
And I think that's kind of where I feel about Fight of the Century is like part of it is, I do enjoy the aspect of the drugs, the effect on it, the corporations, how they entangle with the drama that ensues, because it's something that you just got to see, and I think that's really interesting. I think, made like stylistically, movement, action wise. That's why Fight of the Century is my favorite. But I can more so personally relate to, you know what I'm saying, the C-listers and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, I definitely wrote the C-list to be relatable, like kind of slice of life about my life. At the same time, I do appreciate what you said about Fight of the Century. What more can I say to that?
Oh, man. So with that being said, I'm going to test your writing ability. So what we're going to do is we got a test that we do for the writers and the creators that come in.
This feel like Rap City, the basement.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
This is about to be the basement, man.
Kyle, drop the beat.
Yeah.
Right now.
5 fingers. we got so what we call this is AWO, another writer's opinion, where we ask you about other shows, anime, books, manga, whatever, and then you give us a better spin or try and salvage it if it was trash.
Okay.
You ready?
Yeah.
So, first thing we're going to go with is Game of Thrones last season. What would you do to make the last season of Game of Thrones salvageable?
Add 2 more episodes.
Oh, my man.
It's not like we weren't already watching it. I'm like, y'all just got cheap for this last season.
Yes.
2, I mean, you know, it's like the thing is like, to a certain degree, I think you could look at it one of 2 ways. Okay. The last season, everybody's trajectory was already sort of set. Like, people got mad. Oh my God. Spoiler alert. Danny, you know what I'm saying? Like, burning down things. She did atrocities the entire show.
And people were just happy about it.
I'm like, your favorite character did something messed up. Like, every character on that show did something messed up.
Everybody was tarnished.
I think the problem is they took 2 years, so a lot of people just started writing their own endings. And then they watched it, and they were like, this is not how it was supposed to end. It was supposed to end the way I wrote it. So I wish they had just, like, put it in that year. Just, I mean, everybody didn't probably need that break. They was like, it's a real intense show. They probably need that time off. But I was like, just do it real quick. You know, I didn't like Bran getting on the throne, but I feel like they didn't have any alternatives. Like, did they want it to do? Like, here's my play. In my mind, I think George R.R. Martin got his real ending.
Yes.
That we're going to get later. Like, I feel like this last season was just like, they were like, let's just wrap this up. We're going to do a bunch of Lord of the Rings fan service.
Full Metal Alchemist.
We're going to redo everything. We're going to bring it back all the way.
And then George R.R. Martin, when that last book dropped, you know, that's like, when they gonna make all that paper.
This is the Popeye's chicken sandwich here.
He probably told like WB Wise and his partner, like, look, I'm gonna give y'all 20%. Just throw in like all these little references real quick, wrap it up in a pretty bow. Yeah. Now, the one other thing I didn't like was Dothraki in that last battle scene. We should have seen them fight the White Walkers.
Yes.
I felt like they did my boys dirty.
They got washed. You didn't even see them get washed.
Yo, it happened in the dark. Like,
you just seen their lights go out. How are they even in the next couple of episodes? They shouldn't have even made it. They shouldn't have even made it back. All their swords that were lit on fire.
And they probably shamed because they ran away.
Right?
Yep. Dang.
They're like, yo, we getting...
They weren't even Dothraki no more. Yeah. They were just regular.
just chilling.
They're just horse riders now. Like, we're not like cowboys.
Just get on the boat with me. We about to go over here right quick. Yeah.
So I like it, man. I like what you said. 2 extra episodes. Dothraki should have had some play.
Yeah.
What else did you say?
Bran not on the throne.
Yeah, Bran is a weak king. I don't care if he knows all the history. He ain't a. He's not
don't even want to be king. He like, yo, run it for me.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, you don't even desire it.
Tyrion is actually the king. He's running the show.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Tyrion should have been the king.
Yes. Got his puppet.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, that was one of the bigger issues that I had with it.
Maybe it would have been a little bit different if he would seemed a little bit more humble. But as soon as he started feeling up that tree and molesting, he's like, I know everything. Just like be a little humble about it. Be like, I'll do my best. I mean, be like. He was a
creeper. He was a creeper. Like, he was like going to Sansa. You were pretty on your wedding. Like, bruh. Like, you know what happened, bruh.
I would just have turned into a troll. Be like, you know what's happening tonight, Bran? Something you can't do.
Oh
burn him every chance he gets. He like stand up and say it to my face. Burn him every chance I get.
That's crazy.
You better watch out, man. He will warg into a wolf or something. You know what I'm saying? It's like warg into a big dude. You know what I'm saying? Okay. Next one. I'm gonna skip around a little bit. So actually, no, we're gonna go with this one.
Now I did the Luke Cage thing for you, man.
Yeah, I was about to say I want the Luke Cage.
I was about to say I got a pitch.
Yeah, I want the Luke Cage actually.
These jokers right here, I love these guys already, but they sent me a little thing to do 24 hours. They were like, "Yo, what would you do for Luke Cage season 3?"
Yeah.
Now, full disclaimer, so y'all gonna have to roll with me a little bit here. Right? I watched season 1. I had to Cliff Notes season 2 real quick. I was just watching doing on YouTube a few hours ago. But I'm going to tell you my pitch for Luke Cage season 3 right now.
Let's do it.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a little left field. Black Morbius.
What?
Think about it, right? Like a character, in a way, it will harken back to Blackula. Because in the show sort of way, it's trying to become this anachronistic classic time capsule when you think about it. Blackula is a blaxploitation character. So imagine a Black Morbius character comes into the neighborhood, trying to fill the void of Black Mariah, wants to be a council person. His ulterior motive would actually be to try to create an environment for his ideal situation of actually being a bloodsucker. That being the case, in part creating an environment that leads to gentrification, which you can use as an allegory for sucking the culture out of an environment such as Harlem.
Deep.
That being said, obviously Luke Cage, being in his current position, from what I know, would obviously be against this. So, you would have introduced a new kind of long, deep box character. You had to kind of get, Sony probably ain't even going to really do nothing with that, dude. So, Fade, you listening to this right now, you can kind of steal it. Just give me the credit. I just want the credit real quick.
It's a deep idea right here. I like this.
But you give me a couple hours is what I do.
Oh, man. That's sharp, man.
So, you can have Blade tie-ins. You can have a little, it's a little fun because, Blackula had important message to it. It just also happened to be fun. I'm a little bit of a light. I switch. I'm kind of bipolar. I can do a little light. I can do a little heavy as a storyteller. That being said, you can have Blade. You can have Blade tie-ins. It goes on theme with the chemically created human beings that are going in on this show. You know what I'm saying? Imagine who could play a Black Morbius. They would kill that joint. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So,
man,
hipster vampires coming into the neighborhood.
I like it.
Running shop.
Yep. It kicking all the Black people out. And Black people just disappearing. No reason. Just going into the clinic, getting some free health care.
Dudes with lumberjack shirts just sucking the blood out of the local neighborhood.
We wouldn't expect it. You just hippies killing thugs. We wouldn't see it coming. We wouldn't see it coming.
But I have a skim mocha latte and your blood.
What? Like what?
Mix some blood up.
The guy walking up like, hey dude, can I get an 8? And your blood. Like, like, no. Like, I don't do drugs, baby. I just want an 8th of you, cuz.
I just need a pint.
I just need a pint, fam.
Even harken back to a little, Vampire in Brooklyn.
I remember Vampire in Brooklyn. That joint went hard, yo.
I done sold y'all. We just get this out the page.
I was definitely sold on that. That was tight. Okay. So I know that you have sense and you did not watch Boruto, which I respect more than anything. Because you saved yourself hours of heartache.
It's crazy, man. My homeboy was like, you got to watch Shipping. And it's sort of weird, man. When you start, I love Crunchyroll. Yeah. And then my husband who was like, you got to watch Shipping. I was like, it's 500 episodes. Yeah. And then I started going, do I need to watch Naruto? Be like, you need to watch Naruto before you watch Shipping. So then, I had to just take a break. And then I'm in this crew called the Blur Brigade on Facebook. Shout out to the Blur Brigade. I've seen y'all. And my homeboy Frank Yeager is also an amazing writer on Sword of the Free. Okay. As cool Black Samurai book. If you like the Yasuke idea, definitely go check his thing out. Okay. And a lot of people just started trashing Boruto, and I was like, I'll come back maybe after One Piece, you know, probably like 40 at that point. But
hey, you about to try to watch all of One Piece?
I'm taking that bit by bit. I like binge Naruto Shippuden, which was probably a really good idea and a really bad idea.
Was good.
Shippuden is a good binge. Like, if you catch the right episodes and you dodge all the filler.
I did skip that season where they're like, let's do this backstory about the village. I was like, skip.
Skip. Anything where it's like a backstory about a star or waterfall or grass village. Forget all of those.
Waterfall Village was actually legit in part 1. That was an actual like village that was of substance. The Star Village though, was like, what did we happen and what's happening? Like a Star Village, like for real.
So if with the knowledge that you have about Shippuden, right? Mm-hmm. Is there anything that you would change besides removing all the filler, which is the first thing that everybody would do if you had any sense?
Why would you do that to us?
Yes. What would you do with Shippuden to make it better? Or could it be better? Is it maxed out?
I think, you know, with Shippuden, I mean, like I said, cutting the filler, I think is like a huge thing.
Yes,
I actually thought, you know, some people dislike Shippuden as opposed to, say, Naruto, because Naruto is very much so more like, you know, Dennis the Menace. And I would hope Boruto was a little bit more like that. You know, oh God, at the same time. I mean, it's like with Shippuden, I thought it was a well-told story. I thought it was thematic. I just didn't necessarily like the pacing. But, you know, I mean, overall, I enjoyed it for what it was worth.
Yes. Yeah. I agree. What I didn't like about Shippuden.
Go ahead.
Everybody got OP.
Out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere. It was ridiculous. It was like, what was the use of any wars? Everybody was this strong.
Remember when Kakashi had limits?
Yeah.
Now, the one thing I know that causes some arguments sometimes is the whole Sasuke's brother betrayal, double, triple agent. Like,
he was like a quadruple agent.
It's like deep cover. I kind of buy that, and I don't buy the problem with Naruto 1. Now, one interesting thing is you watch Naruto and Shippuden all together, you kind of start seeing a couple little more holes than probably if you had spent 10, 15 years of your life.
Yeah.
Because, like, there was, like, a problem with the whole Kage resurrection thing. Like, if you're a fan, you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
Yeah. But, I mean, overall, I like Shippuden. I mean, hell, if I'm writing like 500 volumes of anything, I make a mistake. Somebody call me on and somebody call me on in an anime panel. I'd be like, "Oh, what did you say?" Boom, punch him in the chest.
I'd be like, "So what did you say?" Like, "Oh, so you watched it then, right?" I got you.
Got like write your own 500 volume story. And I'm going to go do what Gearman does after this show.
Hey, get it in.
Getting it in.
With all types.
Let me know all kinds. Let me know when you've written your own masterpiece, then you can do that.
Yeah.
Oh, man. With the time that we have left, we like to do this part. I never told you, but we like to do it called shameless shout-outs. We shout out whoever you want. You know what I'm saying? Mamas, kids, you know what I'm saying? Anybody that you want, homies. Companies that you're affiliated with, go ahead and give me a shameful shout out, bruh.
Wow, there's a lot of people I can shout out there. Shout out to my family, my wife especially holding it down right now. I told her about this interview at the last minute. So she's a same thing. With my little 5-year-old and 3-year-old kid. Shout out to them. I already shouted out the Blur Brigade. Shout out to my homeboy Mike Van Cleve, another great comic book creator. You know, shout out to my city of Baltimore. Just constantly inspiring me with their craziness and charming character. You know, now like I'm getting stuck. You know, I had this conversion.
Now the pressure is on. You just the pressure is on.
My family in general, just, you know, thank y'all guys for being here. And, you know, just anybody that's helped me up along the way and people that have read my books.
Thank you, man.
And where can we find your books, your information, your social media, all that good stuff?
All right. Normally, for the comics, you just go to rexco-comics.com. Same thing with the Instagram. If you go to Facebook, type in Fight of the Century Comic, we're the first thing that pops up. I'm constantly posting funny like MMA stuff on there, like the recent Popeye Chick-fil-A congregation. Sometimes I'll just ask people like who takes it, fight fans. I call my anybody that reads like Fight of the Century fight fans, so y'all are fight fans.
Yes.
So,
I'm down for a good beat down.
So and Twitter's Go Rexco. it's a little more savage on there because it's just Twitter, so you gotta be a savage.
Yeah. So you gotta be.
Only the savages.
Hey, man. Hey, Nick, it was a pleasure having you, man. You are the man. We're gonna check out Fight of the Century. I know that's gonna be my new personal comic.
Oh, yeah.
And this is D and
Demo.
And we are out of here.
Let's go.
Boom.
You've been listening to CoPlay Media with hosts Diers and Demo. For more information on CoPlay Media and the Blerd community, visit CoPlayMedia.com or the CoPlay Media page at dc.radio.gov.